come check him out here, the Little Woody, right on Indian School between 40th and 44th Street. So come check him out and come see Tina.
And this is Fox 10 Talks. We've got a story about a fire that hit this home in the East Valley, a nice-looking home, but you can see the destruction as we flew the Sky Fox drone overhead. And if you take a look on the lower left-hand corner of your screen, you can see that this is not just your typical house fire. Not when ATF, federal investigators, are on scene. Local police and firefighters have been there throughout the morning as well. We have a full report coming up from Fox 10's Danielle Miller just in the next few minutes. So stand by for that, the latest on what we're learning. But unfortunately, it looks like that house fire story has taken a very sinister twist. But now here at 10:01, we continue to follow the tragedy, the unbelievable story. And if you were following it over the 4th of July weekend, the original reports of maybe a dozen people had lost their lives. It continually updated into the 20s and 30s, and now we're well over 80 people who lost their lives in massive flooding that was happening just over the last 48 hours or so. We're going to go to Kennedy Hayes right now. Kennedy joins us this morning. And what's that? Okay, we're still reaching out to Kennedy. But I will just share some of the video with you to show you exactly. And of course, you have heard a lot about it. But this map that was created shows you there's Camp Mystic over to the left. There's the town of Hunt, Texas, which appears to be kind of the epicenter where those two big Texas rivers come together. And then you see this, all of the destruction up and down the path of the Guadalupe River. So it really involves the campers. It starts there with this camp, both the young ladies who were there on a summer camp. It's been popular for decades there in Texas, an all-girls Christian summer camp, and the heartbreak that they have been dealing with ever since the news broke. So from what we understand, there were 27 people that died in the floodwaters in and around that area, around Camp Mystic and into downtown Hunt, Texas. We are showing you some of the video now in regards to all of this. And water levels rose very dramatically. Some of the damage that was left behind is it's just staggering. I mean, it is absolutely staggering. And so state officials did hold a news conference earlier today reporting that 89 people in all have died, including 27 children. Crews have been using helicopters and boats and drones searching for those who are still missing. Syleste joins as well. Syleste, let me get your microphone open. I'm sure as you followed the story this weekend, you were as shocked as I was to hear just about the devastation in Central Texas.
Oh, my goodness. Heartbreaking. Heartbreaking, Ron.
Yeah.
I think when you take a look at, and now on this Monday, you're starting to see a lot of the stories that are emerging of the people who sadly were killed. For example, there is a morning anchor in Houston at the Fox station, Sally McDonald. I went to college with her here at Cronkite and at ASU. And she posted this picture this morning of a young woman and one of the counselors, Chloe Childress, and she shared Chloe's story as well. She said Chloe graduated from Houston's Kincaid School. Her family sent the statement Monday. This morning, her family released a statement that she lived a life that saturated those around her with contagious joy, unending grace, and abiding faith, returning as a counselor to the place she loved so dearly. So a lot of the counselors we're learning now who happen to be there, Ron, they spent their younger years at Camp Mystic.
Yeah. Okay. So also on scene for us now, Kennedy Hayes, who is, well, you can see Kennedy right there, all set and ready to go with us, reporting from, are you actually fairly close to the camp, Kennedy, or what part of Texas are you in?
Hi, Ron. We are in Kerrville, Texas. It's about a 25-mile drive from Hunt and then another 25 miles to Camp Mystic. But just devastating. Officials say now 89 people have died. That includes 27 children. I'm going to step aside real quick so you can see where I'm standing. You'll get a better idea of the Guadalupe River here. And you can just see how powerful these floodwaters were. If you look at the trees, they're toppling over not only on the banks of the river, but also several feet upstream. Officials and crews still cleaning up debris around the area. And I want to show you here a map. This is another look at the Guadalupe River's path and where we are now. Among the missing, campers and counselors from Camp Mystic, an all-girls Christian summer camp. They say at least 27 people there died in the floodwaters. Camp Mystic is near downtown Hunt, the area that saw the worst of it. Now, by Friday morning, water levels rose nearly 30 feet, and nearby Kerrville here also saw a dramatic surge with floodwaters topping 24 feet in some areas. And crews are using helicopters, boats, and drones searching for those who are still missing. Governor Abbott has issued a state disaster declaration in over a dozen counties. President Trump is also offering help, approving federal disaster assistance, and the flood threat is still high. Forecasters are expecting more rain through Tuesday, but the community is rallying. Area churches are packing food and water for families, and one woman I spoke to told me her daughter works at one of the camps, made it out safely, but she was also telling me about her own time as a camp director and how now she's here to help.
Kennedy, so in terms of, the volunteer efforts, my understanding is they actually, at first they weren't letting family into the worst of the flooding, but then eventually on Sunday they relented and said, all right, you can come in and you can actually help with the search efforts.
And Ron, what I'm hearing from locals is that they were told to stay in their homes. Some were trapped for more than 24 hours just because the floodwaters were so high. When they would try to go outside or run errands with their cars, it was too dangerous to cross a lot of those flooding areas. In addition to that, we know some people are still stuck in their homes. That church that I went to, those volunteer efforts, they say that right now they're seeing the biggest need for those people that can't get out of the areas that they live. So they'll be bringing resources to them in the coming days.
All right, Kennedy, thanks so much. And boy, our prayers sure go out for folks in that part of Central Texas. Once again, that's Kennedy Hayes, who has been joining us there right from the scene of some of the worst flooding. Celeste, I just thought I would share. The Wall Street Journal had a report this weekend.
Yes.
And let me just share a little bit of the story that they put. It's just one family story, the Harbors, and they were staying down there along the river. And RJ, who's the dad in this family, 45 years old, been vacationing and going to the summer camp there his whole life. And but his daughters were nearby in another cabin, 11-year-old Brooke and 13-year-old Blair. So he woke up in the middle of the night, put his foot on the floor and felt about 4 inches of water.
Wow.
So he and his wife are in one cabin. He puts his foot down. It's up to her ankle. He very quickly wakes up his wife and says, Annie, the cabin is flooding. He could see the water rushing in through the front door, tried to open it, but couldn't because the pressure.
Oh, wow.
So he says, we need to get out right now. They grabbed what they could. And by the time they jumped out of the window, 2 minutes later,
wow,
the water was up to his wife, Annie's neck.
Wow.
Showing you just how fast it all happened.
So one of the questions now emerging this morning is, are there warnings? Were those warnings even able to be utilized, or is that even a possibility when you think about it? Because that is an incredible amount of rain.
Right.
So there must have been something that happened up north, right? And then the water rushed down and they were in this floodplain area or something.
Right.
And the water comes through. But, some of the numbers that Kennedy Hayes was just mentioning and some of the numbers that we're reading this morning, like 30 feet. 30 feet of water, that is just absolutely incredible when you consider, when we have monsoon storms here, I think it's difficult for us to consider that.
Okay, we're going to stay on top of it as the morning goes on, that's for sure. But now we shift to our other major story of the morning, and that is, unfortunately, a story of a house fire that has taken a little more of a sinister twist as we start to realize the number of investigators that are on scene. Fox 10's Danielle Miller joins us this morning. Danielle, you were out there early on. Give us just a couple of the nuts and bolts of the story here. When did they figure the fire started, and did it destroy the home?
Yeah, it was right around 3 o'clock this morning, and we were out there right around 4:30 this morning. The fire was already out at that point, but unfortunately, it was a deadly house fire. What we know is that the fire crews arrived, and when they did, the main part of that fire was in the back side of that house into the attic area. It was fully engulfed at that point, the back side of that house there, and the roof did collapse. So firefighters initially went in, tried to look for anybody. They did find that one person, the one victim, and they pulled that person out. And unfortunately, that person was deceased. They had to run out of the house because of how dangerous it was and just the extent of the fire at that time. So not sure if anybody else was in the home at that time. But they did eventually put the fire out. And now investigators are just kind of combing through all the evidence, trying to find out exactly what happened. But we did get an update from the Mesa Police Department about 30 minutes ago. They said that they located an adult man. He was deceased, and the death investigation is still ongoing. However, foul play is not suspected at this time. So still a very active investigation out there. The cause of the fire still investigating, and the incident is believed at this time to be an isolated incident.
Interesting. So I know you reported you saw ATF investigators out there. There was clearly something early on that raised the suspicions, but they've already been able to get in there and do some investigative work in cooperation with local police.
Yeah, we're still unsure how this all started. If this man's death is related to the fire, if potentially he was, possibly dead inside the home before the fire happened. So all of that's still under investigation. But when we were out there, we saw quite a few ATF agents. They had ATF on their shirts, and the Mesa Police Department was out there. The Mesa Fire Department was out there. So, early on, still weren't really sure what was going on out there, but according to the police department, they're saying that foul play is not good. So still a lot of questions this morning, and also it does not appear that there was anybody else in the home at the time of the fire, and we do know that no firefighters were hurt.
That's our Danielle Miller reporting for us live this morning after having spent most of the morning out there in that area around Sossaman and Broadway in Mesa. Celeste, it's so good to have you back.
Thank you. It's good to be back, Ronald.
Guess what's coming up now? One of your favorite segments.
Oh, my goodness. Mystery camera.
Oh, yeah.
Where is this, everyone?
That's a nice neighborhood. And there's your live look at some beautiful neighborhood this morning. And Celeste, I'm looking at it and trying to come up a little bit of a breeze. I see the American flag, but I can't quite make out what the other one is.
Look at this. You're right, a nice neighborhood.
Yes.
You know, I wonder if it's a kind of neighborhood, I think, Ron, where you could borrow maybe a cup of sugar.
Yeah,
maybe
there
a
are
stick
still
of butter,
neighborhoods like that.
You know,
Yes,
fortunately.
correct.
And nobody's going to
Yeah.
say no or do something to the sugar.
My wife, Renee, this is one of my favorite pictures of all time. A girlfriend of hers named Susie was baking a cake or something. It was Sunday, and she needed 2 eggs.
Okay.
And she's about 6 blocks from us.
Hey, Susie.
And so Renee says, honey, here's 2 eggs. Will you take them over to Susie's house?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. But it was hot summertime day, so I said, I'll drive them over. So I said, get a picture of me with these 2 eggs in the car. I didn't have them in a carton or anything.
They
just
exist.
getting the eggs to Susie.
The same thing happened with my neighbor across the street, Sylvia.
Okay.
She's a great baker, and there's times where I'm out of eggs or I'm out of sugar,
Yes.
or she has the spice like saffron or something that she has. 'cause
She has saffron?
She has saffron on the regular. It's like not
All
very many people have saffron.
No, right?
I mean, so I just, hey, Sil, can I
Yes.
come over?
Good. Okay.
So-
hey, so we are going to follow this story for you because it's really somewhat unbelievable. There was another apparently pretty violent fight over the weekend in a town in the East Valley that you may have heard of, Gilbert.
Uh-oh.
A teen gets arrested. Gilbert police responded to a call about a fight involving a group of teenagers, but this time not the guys, it's the girls.
This is unbelievable. When I heard this story, Ron,
Yeah.
the ladies now,
I know.
back in the days, they used to call these cat fights.
Well, what are you fighting about at late at night here? Here, I've got a map. Let me just pull this map up here, right there. Williams Field and Market Street. And so if you're familiar with that, which I'm very familiar with that's that Santan Mall area. That's right out in front of the Barnes & Noble. But I don't know if it's more in front of the Barnes & Noble or is it more in front of the Chick-fil-A on the other side of Williams Field Road. One way or the other, there was a big fight, and they actually arrested a 15-year-old girl on assault. You cannot, especially with what this city has been through, you cannot get violent in a fight and think that because you're 14 or 15 or 16 that you're just going to be able to walk away. They arrested this girl. They have not given her name yet, but they want to find some of the other teenage girls that were involved in the altercation.
This is crazy.
It is so crazy.
Did they say anything about, I was trying to read up on this, like some of the Gilbert goons, they actually had like the brass knuckles or things like that. It doesn't say anything about that, though.
No, hopefully not.
Yeah,
not
I
to
hope
that
not.
level, because then it's an additional level of crime. But they did, Gilbert PD put this out. Want to make it clear, violence not tolerated. Firmly committed to investigating all incidents of teenage violence. And it's essential for parents to remain alert and monitor where their teens are. So that's going to be part, I'm sure, of what their overall investigation, particularly by how late it was. We're still trying to determine that. But it said in Gilbert, teens under 16, you got to be home by 10 p.m. And if you're between 16 and 18, got to be home by midnight.
Yes.
So guys, if you're out there on a date, it's just a well-meaning movie and dinner. You're not going to fight anyone. You still have to have your date home by 11:59, and that's not just dad talking. That's Gilbert PD.
I know. I love this. Is this just in Gilbert, or can we make this valley-wide?
Celeste,
Statewide.
check your local
Police department?
Something. I bet you surely there's a curfew in Phoenix.
There has to be.
Yeah.
By the way, Ron, can I just give a big shout out to a couple of people on here?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so we have Sherry Nevada Pup says that she has a neighbor who borrows ice from her when she wants to make a cocktail.
That's a great neighbor. Because if your ice machine is on the fritz, you got to at least have one go-to ice person.
Yes, and Dave Brussow says he lives in one of those neighborhoods, too, where they borrow things from one another all the time.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, I think Sherry
What
Nevada
town is Dave in?
Dave, let us know what town you're in.
Okay.
And then Mr. Pavline says when he sees saffron at Ross, he picks them up because it's so pricey. Because it is. Little Philosophy says saffron is expensive. It is. It's one of the most expensive. And you know, you buy the bottle of saffron, and it's got like 2 twigs in it. It's like $16.
Yes, correct. And what's your friend's name who always has saffron on
Sylvia,
hand?
my girlfriend Syl.
At those prices, she might not always be an automatic yes, Celeste. I'm just
Ron,
saying.
why do you have to say that?
At these prices, at some point, Sylvia's going to put her foot down.
What am I going to have to give up for a little saffron, a little saffy?
Hey, we have some more stories we're going to be covering for you right here. So anyway, one other thing. If you want to go to fox10phoenix.com, if you think you have any clues that could help Gilbert police solve this latest crime of teenage violence, go to our website. It shows you all about how you can submit a tip, etc.
Yes,
But
yes.
a couple of more thoughts here on what they've been dealing with in Texas. Have you seen this time lapse?
Oh, my goodness.
That, okay, so if you look, and I don't know if we have this on a loop, but I'm hoping so. So if it loops back, you'll see here in a minute. So it shows the time lapse. 1725 or so was where it started, which means around 5:25 in the afternoon. And
within 20 minutes, Ron.
Oh, gosh, yeah. In fact, well, considering first responders were out there, okay, here we go. 1712. Look at 1717.
Within 5 minutes.
Yes, 5 minutes, and it rose to that level.
Oh,
so it just shows you the power of it. And I was reading you that story there from the Wall Street Journal. After Katrina hit, I volunteered, my son Jordan and my mom, and we went down to a town called Bay St. Louis, Mississippi. And we're going to do that in a sec. But just talking to people who lived through it. They're trying to exit their home with the floodwaters entering their home.
Yeah.
And they're starting to walk out. And by the time they get out of the house, they're swimming out of their house. That's how fast the water
It's so
rise.
crazy.
Oh, one other thing, Celeste.
Yes, Ron.
We do have the mystery camp. Let's not forget the ever popular. Did you see a guest or two?
I did.
Okay.
Let me move up a little bit because I believe we had a Missouri.
Okay.
On the mystery can. We were talking about eggs and onions and saffron.
I know.
That just kind of took over. Can you want to pop up the mystery cam one more time, Ron?
Oh, yeah, sure.
And then if anyone out there
the mystery cam has come and gone.
Oh, it's gone.
But
it was a beautiful neighborhood, though.
I have an idea where that
where
one
people
is
share
for a
onions
future day.
and share sugar and share butter and ice.
And the saffron. Don't forget the saffron. Okay, so we had a Missouri. Let's just answer the mystery cam because we got to move on.
We had a Missouri.
Oh,
And Susan Anthony said Kansas.
Okay.
And Arizona Lerps says looks like the Tennessee flag.
Hey, AZ Lerps is
AZ
a new
Lerps.
commentator. We welcome you. Let us know where you're watching
What's
from.
up, Lerp?
Lerp.
Okay, what are you going to go with, Ron?
I am going to go on that. It's so long ago. But I think I'm going to go Mississippi.
Mississippi?
Yeah.
I'm going to go good old
No, wait.
hometown. I'm
No.
going to go Kansas.
Okay, the flag was blue. So maybe Tennessee is right, but I would think to see more mountains, I'm going to go South Carolina. So
Okay.
you're going Kansas?
I'm going to go Kansas.
Okay, here's our answer.
Guthrie, Oklahoma.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so
Very nice.
good old Oklahoma, that is for sure.
I do know that we have some Oklahoma viewers out there.
And by the way, for all you super fans,
Yeah.
Ron, the deal with the super fans out there is what?
If you want to record a video and email it to us, Dave, what's our email again? Hang on, everybody. There he is. Fox10.
Big D.
What is it again?
Is fox10talks@fox.com.
Hey, we have a really nice microphone.
I know,
working
don't
for
you?
Dave
I was
today.
just going to say his voice is so calming.
Oh, he is
We
very
should
calm.
we should record his voice and put it on one of those sound machines.
Right.
If Fox 10 talks.
Right. What's that app?
Fox.
Calm, where they record the super
yeah.
mellow. It's like.
Just email superfans.
There you are.
Fox 10 talks.
Here we are on the 18th hole. Very quiet, very somber. Okay, anyway, Celeste, we have to talk about this because back to that story of the time-lapse video and the flooding. And, well, did you hear about this story? So this lady was a doctor, Christina. This is a grab from her Facebook page. Look at what she wrote, and people were so outraged by it. She said, "May all visitors, children, and non-MAGA voters and their pets be safe and dry."
Oh, come on.
Kerr County MAGA voted to gut FEMA. They deny climate change may they get what they voted for. Bless their heart.
Jeez.
This is a doctor.
Crazy.
So the story's out there, all over the place, and people have been talking about it. And it shouldn't be a shock that there's outrage to it. But let me just update you on how all of that played out, because she ends up getting fired. She's a pediatrician, I think, in the Houston area, Dr. Christina Probst. And so after that post, somebody on X said, how much hatred must you have in your heart to post something like this, at the very time that bodies are floating down the river? And so then this I just thought was really fascinating. This guy, Syleste, I'm not familiar with him, but he has hundreds of thousands of followers, John Gordon.
Mm-hmm. Did he buy them? Did he buy the followers?
I don't think so. Okay. It says, so here I am reading about the tragedy of the flood, these sweet girls from the camp. My heart breaks for their families.
Aww.
I'm about to weep. And then as I scroll, it's all hate and division, blaming this person and that organization on both sides.
Yeah.
On both sides. And I just want to say, shut up and let people grieve. Where is your heart? What has happened to your soul when you want to make this about politics? So
I think it's a time. There's a time and a place.
Yeah.
And it's usually around election day, season, when you should consider parties.
Correct.
And things like that. But a situation like this, it is just about the grieving families.
I sure think so. And so we're just going to kind of adjust our schedule a little bit.
Okay, where are you?
Because we have a story coming up. Yeah, we get a little bit behind every once in a while. Thank you. By the way, did we hear where our new viewer is from, by the way?
South Phoenix.
From right here in Phoenix?
Yes.
In the South neighborhood.
From SoFo.
That's so great. Anyway, story coming up, the war of words. In fact, honestly, the hatred between the richest man in the world and the most powerful man in the world has just been taken to a whole new level. That's coming up. And then we're going to roll into our poll question. And then, because in our business, it's called a tease, you give the people what they want. Big D. And you just hold them over the 2-minute break. That's Big D right there. But I'll just give you a glimpse right now. If you want to jump in on the poll question, grab that QR code. It all has to do with this, not just talked about, but apparently now in the works, third party, Elon Musk with the America Party. What do you think? Grab that QR code, join the conversation. We'll see what Dave is thinking about your comments. It's all after this break.
Come on, everybody move with me now.
There is a certain dance that you're supposed to do to this music in the break. Can you guys hear that at home? That's the dance right there. This is what it's like when Celeste is back from vacay.
Hi, Ron.
Hi, Celeste.
Hi, everyone. Good to be back.
Okay, so in case you missed it, between President Trump and Elon Musk, he has now said, President has said, that Elon Musk has gotten to the level of ridiculous for what he's trying to do now. They fell out of the spending in the BBB, the big beautiful bill. He says, I think it's ridiculous to start a third party. This is what he told reporters just yesterday. It's always been a two-party system. Third party adds to the confusion. They've never worked. Now, the whole thing about they've never worked is exactly what most of you guys think. On our QR code, we have two different polls. Celeste, I'm going to let you go through the YouTube poll here in just a flash. But right now, 73% are very skeptical. Third parties get a lot of talk, but they never work out. The one thing I will add about this, Celeste.
Yes.
Third parties, trying to get that organized in 50 states around the country, that's tough.
Yes.
However, if you have the kind of money that Elon Musk has, and all you want to do is just run after the Republicans and the Democrats have had their conventions, and you want to put forward a third-party candidate, and you want to spend $300 million on advertising nationally, you probably are going to get somewhere.
Well, I think you're right. And there was somebody in the chat box, and this was about maybe 10 minutes ago or so, but somebody said they voted for Ross Perot.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of people who would choose a third candidate, but it's getting the money and enough support to do it. So let's go to the YouTube poll.
Yep.
Will Elon Musk's new third party be a success? 535 votes as of right now. No, third parties get a lot of talk but never work out. 79% of you are voting for that one. Yes, and I hope it hurts the GOP's chances. 16%. And then yes, and I hope it hurts the Democrats' chances. 6% on that one.
Okay, so you have a couple of different ways to vote. People are engaged, hundreds and hundreds. Let's see what the remarks, though. This is always one of the most interesting part. Dave, what are you seeing?
Yeah, lots of really good comments today. Jack Ragnarsson says, I would say it won't get more support than the Libertarian Party. It will take away from the GOP, but I don't think it will be a big success, especially since many hate Musk nowadays. We should switch to a multi-party system, though. The two-party winner-takes-all system is just destroying the U.S. And then A. Steve says, yes, and I hope it hurts both parties because they've both gone too extreme in the opposite directions, and neither is willing to compromise and take a middle-of-the-road stance. Really good, insightful comments all around. Keep them coming, guys. Keep the engagement up. We love chatting with you guys. Thanks so much.
Okay, well, so your
Big
comments
D.
are great coming in from Big D this morning, and there is your other poll questions. Well, this time around, sometimes they go up in opposite directions, but it's somewhere between 70 and 79% of you are pretty skeptical it's going to work. Just keep one more thing in mind. As close as our elections are, sometimes by 2 or 3 or 4 percentage points.
Yeah.
That's all one candidate would need to take the votes away from whoever it's going to be. If you right now, Celeste, had to right on the spot with thousands of people watching either live or on the YouTube replay.
On the YouTube.
Forever.
Okay.
Who would you most likely say is going to be the Republican and the Democrat candidate in 2028?
Gosh.
Yeah, go. What do you think?
Maybe J.D. Vance.
Okay.
And unless Trump gets his wish, didn't he want to run again? Remember that whole thing?
Right,
He's like, I think I want to run
but
again.
Then he backed off.
Yeah,
of
then
it.
he backed off.
Yeah.
So J.D. Vance.
Yeah.
And for the Democrats,
That's the other party I'm thinking about. Celeste, are you stalling for time here? I know
I'm
we
trying
didn't
to think
rehearse
of like
this.
who's come. Maybe Pete Buttigieg.
Okay, there's a vote for Buttigieg.
He wanted to run a long time. Remember, it was
I do.
Maybe
Remember?
like 15 years ago.
I remember talking to Chris Wallace, who was with Fox at the time.
Yeah.
And we were like both rehearsing how to pronounce his name because he was coming on strong. Now, listen to this part of it, though, is I think it's going to be super close between Marco Rubio.
Oh, that's
and
good.
J.D. Vance for the Republicans. And I have two names for you on the Democratic side.
Okay.
One is Wes Moore. He's the governor of Maryland. He's very charismatic. And we'll see how everything goes on rebuilding the bridge in Baltimore.
Okay.
But he's a big up-and-comer. And then Josh Shapiro. So two East Coast governors. He's the governor of Pennsylvania. And I just say, of those four names, I bet you two of those are going to be the nominees.
And I didn't learn this until later on, but I think the reason why sometimes governors actually run for president is because a governor is like the president of the state.
Yes,
You
right.
know, I
Yeah.
mean, and so you're running the state at a certain level, and then maybe you run the country, and obviously it's a much larger level. But if you can surround yourself with super smart people, even if you're not that smart, then maybe it'll work itself out, and you can be a success.
All right. Hey,
Ron, by the way,
Yeah.
the chat is on fire when it comes to food.
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, we're talking mac salad, potato salad, watermelon. We're talking all kinds of fun stuff. What's your favorite summertime food, Ron Hoon? Not to get you off track and everything.
You know, honestly, it's a hot dog.
Oh, yeah.
We had hot dogs this weekend.
Yeah, us
and-
too.
Yeah. It's hard to
Relish,
beat.
mustard. What'd
Hey,
you have?
Well, a lot. You really want to know the toppings on my hot dog,
I
Celeste?
actually do.
I feel like
yeah.
we need to move on. Anyway,
Onions?
it was mustard and there was onions. I had to actually go buy a fresh onion and chop it up. Anyway, Steph, I'm going to let you bring up, because I don't know the source here. We have Eric Wilson standing by with TMZ talking about our favorite summertime food. So, Eric, if you can hear us.
Eric, do you
this
love hot
morning-
dogs?
Yeah, what's your go-to summertime food, my friend? Standing by for Eric Wilson here. And let me just see where. Oh, there he is. I think on maybe. Do I see him on 21? Let me try punching that up. Or you guys can too. Either way. All right. Nope.
Oh, well,
Nope.
you're working on that,
Nope.
Ron. Angela Marie in the chat box said she could totally see Ron DeSantis running.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, seems like he's been pretty effective as the governor of Florida. All right.
Yeah,
Are we
very
ready to
much
go?
so.
There's Eric. He's listening. He's
Hey,
like,
Eric.
come on, man. I want to join this convo. My favorite summertime food. We're going to bring your microphone up at 2 so we can hear you. Yeah, we're just talking about our favorite summertime food, and so far, hot dog is winning.
Oh, wait, hold on. We're working on getting you. Eric, you're looking fantastic. Can you hear us? Can you give me a thumbs up? Okay, do you like hot dogs? Give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. Oh, no hot dogs. So what did you have? Hamburgers? What did you have for 4th of July? Like barbecue?
Oh, it's a lip reading
Oh,
exercise.
yeah, lip reading.
All right.
Well, you're looking good in plaid, buddy.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
he had chicken. He had chicken wings.
Oh, nice
Oh,
chicken
yum.
wings.
Hot
Excellent.
sauce, chicken.
Okay.
This is getting very interesting.
Yes, it
You're still
is.
looking great, though, Eric.
We've been having
So
a couple of
the
problems here with our
reason
live
why we
shots
want to bring
today.
TMZ on is
Of
because, of course, there has been the big developments with the Diddy trial.
Yes.
And TMZ has been on top of it when it comes to that. And the judge, it sounds like, and Eric will probably share a little bit more about this in a few moments. And as soon as we're able to get his mic up, we'll bring that. But the thing about it is the judge, they believe could potentially be pretty harsh on Diddy when it comes to some of the charges that the jury did find him guilty of. There's a couple of the biggest charges that were he was facing.
Yeah.
He did not. The jury couldn't decide
Right.
on two of the most serious charges,
Yeah.
and so
Ultimately, then the judge tells him you got to go back in, and so they
Yes.
did find him not guilty
yes,
on actually all three of the most serious charges. But it's just been interesting, just kind of reading the reaction ever since on that, and so that's why we were thinking we'd bring Eric to you just to get a little glimpse as to how it all played out, particularly because Eric, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, yeah.
Excellent. So what was the reaction back in jail?
So like you said, Diddy got off on 3 of the most serious charges of the 5. He's still facing 2 counts of the Mann Act when it comes to Cassie and Jane. But the defense sees this as a victory. Diddy sees this as a victory. And everybody back at MDC, when Diddy arrived home to the jail, saw this as a victory as well. And I think a lot of people in the prison are seeing it as a victory, not so much that they're cheering for Diddy getting off, but they're cheering for him defeating the government, who obviously put a lot of these people in there as well. So, Yeah, a win for Diddy is a win for all criminals, I guess.
What does this tell us about how the judge views this case, or, the judge sending the jury back to rethink about some of these other charges? Because one of the big questions that they've been talking about and that Diddy hasn't chatted about, Eric, was the fact that they haven't talked about his violent nature. Like some of the videos, like the one in the hotel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that has been something that the judge talked about.
And that was one of the questions, which is where's the assault charge? And it was federal. You got to go to the state level. You heard anything about that as well? About maybe another trial?
The judge's stance on not giving Diddy any bail really gives us insight into how he will handle sentencing, and also how he sees Diddy. And I think he sees him as a violent person. He sees him as someone who's not remorseful. He sees him as someone who could be, maybe not necessarily a flight risk, but definitely a risk to who knows what he can, put together or, get against people that, spoke out against him during this time in that little window he would have before going to jail. So keeping him behind bars limits that risk as well.
Oh, interesting.
So I think that gives us insight into thinking that the judge will give a harsher sentence. Prosecution is asking for at least 4 years, but there's a possibility he could get off in a year with the 10 months that he's had time served as well. So it could be anywhere from another year in prison to another 4 to 10 years in prison. We won't know until, I believe it's Wednesday. They have the hearing.
And we have about a minute left. What about this talk now of him facing a lawsuit?
I mean, he's going to, every day there's going to be a new Diddy lawsuit of someone he assaulted allegedly or, was involved in his criminal empire. So which one are you specifically speaking about right now?
Well, I think it was the guy who was the other male who said that he felt he had been abused by not just Diddy, but by his girlfriend as well.
Yeah, we don't have much on that one yet, but I think that it won't be the first, or it won't be the last, rather, from the sex workers that he's hired in his time with these freak-offs.
Okay.
And I think one of the questions as well, Eric, is what can the judge tell him, no more freak-offs?
I don't think so. I mean, the issue is, this kind of turned into a prostitution case. So he can still, if he had these freak-offs and didn't, have the prostitutes cross state line, some of these charges would have been dropped because it wouldn't have been illegal.
Okay, Eric, always good insight. We appreciate all you guys at TMZ with the latest reporting. So we are going to take another break. Pretty sure that's Annapolis, Maryland.
Wow.
Look
so
at that.
Pretty.
For sure. Back in a flash. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I am going to pull up a picture here of Sky Harbor Airport because we all have a complaint to file today, and it's not a complaint against Sky Harbor. It's because we love Sky Harbor. Can you see it there? Just over to the left, you can see the parking garage area, and then you see all the planes over to the right. And so a new list just came out. The Washington Post published it, and this is the top 50 airports in America. Where would you guys think Sky Harbor is? You've all flown into a bunch of, by the way, it's Syleste and Isabella joining. Hi, Isabella.
Hey. Hi, Isabella.
All right. Where do you guess?
Where Sky Harbor would land?
Top 50.
Top 50 at least.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Give me a number. Give me a number.
25.
25.
I'm going to go 15.
Okay, and I would put it close to top 10. I don't know about you guys' experience flying, but there is not a better TSA operation in America.
Agreed.
Almost without fail, you're looking at 5 minutes, maybe 10 to get through TSA. Try flying through SeaTac sometimes.
Oh, that's a nightmare.
Horrible TSA.
Yes, right.
And that teeny little escalator that takes you up from, it's like, what? It's like 10 steps.
Correct. Plus, they kicked out Ivers. You used to be able to get Ivers fish and chips, and they kicked them out.
At least they have a Beecher's cheese.
That sounds like a crime.
It surely does. SeaTac, if you're watching, we need an explanation. Anyway, the reason we're talking about Sky Harbor today is they did not make the list of the top 50. Coming out from the Washington Post, number one, you guys, is Portland. Isabella has flown in there and says you do like it.
Yes, I actually flew in and out of Portland last month, and they redid an entire terminal. It looks like a museum. Like
super woodsy.
All woodsy, and then all the
pretty.
windows are open. It honestly looks like you're in a terrarium. It's really pretty.
Oh, how
Wow.
gorgeous. Okay.
And it's large.
They do have like outside of Portland also like all the wineries and everything down through. It's so pretty.
Very beautiful airport.
Albuquerque is number 7. I like that airport, but it's small.
It is small.
That's where they have like TSA agents who are just hoping you'll come through. Seriously, the last time I flew through, they're like, "Oh, we got a customer."
Are you kidding me that Albuquerque beats Sky Harbor?
I know, it's so ridiculous. Now, Salt Lake is 9, and they built a whole brand new airport. And Syleste, I know you've flown in and out of that Salt Lake airport. It's quite amazing.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
Yes,
it is.
It is great.
And you're so close from every like Park City or 30-minute drive.
Yes.
It's really a great airport.
The other thing is Detroit is number 10, and I actually love the Detroit airport. It's the only airport in the world I've ever been to where when you get off the plane, there's a guy waiting for you, and he's playing a grand piano.
Oh my God. It's like Nordstrom.
Sort of.
During the holidays, they
right?
have a man playing the piano in the department store.
Right. Yeah.
I love that.
I was amazed. Yeah, way to go, Detroit, the Wayne County Airport.
Way to like take it to another level.
Let me just see what else is on this list real quick.
Is SeaTac in the top list?
You know what?
What about
I don't
Atlanta?
think I saw SeaTac. Bozeman, Montana is 24. That's a cool little airport.
Is Atlanta? Are they somewhere in the top 10?
I don't think. See,
I
that's the
hope
thing. I
not
think
Atlanta.
a lot of the big ones that maybe sometimes have long delays did not make it.
Well, the first time I flew into Atlanta, I stepped off the plane. I've told Ron this before, and the first thing I saw was a Spanx store, and I was like, okay, this is when you see a Spanx store, you know there's like Hollywood celebrities flying in, or models, or people going, I forgot my Spanx.
Sure, you're mid-flight, and you're like, I'm just hoping there'll be a Spanx store at this next airport.
Right?
What are the odds? Okay,
or loafers, like, geez, Louise.
Spokane is 41. I like that. It's the right size. It's like 30 gates. El Paso, never flown in there, but I have a hard time believing they have a better airport.
What is this, Ron?
Oh, wait. Hold on. Okay, stand by. So, 4th of July up in Payson.
Yes.
I know Prescott gets a lot of talk as sort of the 4th of July town of America.
And Pine Top does too.
Yes. But I have to say, and I'm going to play this for you guys right now. I think this is SOT 1 here. Here is what they were saying about Fox 10. This was a little golf cart 4th of July parade type thing. Just a few people dressing up their golf cart in red, white, and blue. And look at this family here. Okay, would you look at this 4th of July setup here? Every one of you guys loves Fox 10? Yeah! Yeah! That's great. Okay, so every morning at 4:30, huh?
Religiously, I watch you guys.
Oh, that's so great.
And then Corey at 5 o'clock. That guy's hilarious.
Yeah, right? I know. We couldn't do the shows without him. Look at this. How much effort did you put into it? This is fantastic. 2 days?
Yes.
Oh, that's great. Well, thanks for being so loyal to Fox 10. That is a great USA. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
And
That
then
was
the
so
parade
great.
continued. Look, there was Benjamin Franklin handing out candy.
Wow.
And here comes, is that maybe Alexander Hamilton? Something like that? Handing out the candy? Holy cow. I mean, they really got into it.
The kids are like, who's this strange guy with the white hair and the hat? They have no idea.
Right? But I have to show you the fireworks show that they were putting on. Check this out, you guys. I don't know. If we have any sound on this, we can go ahead and ride it a little bit here. Because, let's just watch this for a sec here. On the lake in Payson. And you guys, it went on and on and on. This is a 20-minute show, so big shout out. They have that Green Valley Park with that
Wow.
beautiful lake.
It's so pretty.
I wonder if they ever won an All-American City Award for that park, because it just brings the whole community together. Where else? How many places can you go and hang out on the lake on 4th of July in Arizona?
And not sweat.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go.
So, anyway, that was a story that we definitely wanted to talk about.
By the way,
this
Ron,
morning.
Susan Anthony says we were in the parade. Ron, it's she said on another side, not the golf cart.
Oh, for
Not the
goodness
golf
sakes.
cart side. She's on the other side.
Oh, for
But
goodness
Susan
sakes.
Anthony was there as well.
Susan, nice to meet you and talk with you. Boy, that is one town that loves this show, our streaming show, and then our morning news on Fox 10 TV.
Oh, that's so
as
special.
well. Okay, so you guys, it's Manhattanhenge coming up here this week. So remember what that is, Celeste? You look at me like, what are you talking about?
Manhattan what?
You'll remember this. Ready? It's when the sun sets between the buildings
Oh, yes,
in
you're
Manhattan.
right.
And they say they've calculated it's going to be July the 11th and 12th. So you got a few days to get to New York.
Okay.
And that is some kind of sunset. Look at that. Huh?
So is that looking towards then the park?
Yeah, well, the sun rises in the east
yeah, it
and
sets
sets
in
in
the
the west. So we're looking west, Celeste, toward New Jersey.
Towards yes,
okay,
towards the
just-
river on that side.
Right. Anyway, it got us
Wow.
thinking about, as spectacular as those sunsets are, where's the most spectacular sunset you ever saw?
Yes.
And we're going to roll through these pictures because we're having fun. Isabella, you have one as well, right?
I do. I
And
did put one in.
I think we even on the Dave
Dave.
cam,
Big Dave.
we got Dave with his favorite. Wait, by the way, the best part of the show is catching Dave unawares. All right. Anyway, here we go. Let me just start calling these up. I believe we are going to start with. Okay.
Oh.
So that's the
beautiful.
sidewalk in front of my house
Is
out
this
there in
Stutterbug?
Mesa. No, this was 2021. It was February the 3rd. I mean, I literally had people texting me on my phone saying, go outside and look at the sunset. So that is Avery, our little granddaughter, who's growing up fast. But I mean, she even turned around to look at it. And it was just the most, and I swear it lingered for like a half an hour. It was really, really
Wow.
great. So that's
So
my nominee.
pretty, Ron.
Let's see what else is going to pop up here. Celeste.
Oh yeah.
The
this
beach?
This is the beach. This
Okay,
is
where?
this is in Hawaii.
Oh, that's a nice
Beautiful.
place.
Yeah, this is in Kauai.
Okay.
And they have some of the most beautiful sunsets.
Oh.
They have like the island of Kauai. It is my husband and I. We've been taking our kids there for years. It's kind of just our special place. We have a church we go to there now, and family and friends. And
Nice.
but
they remember you at the church?
oh yeah.
Oh, that's so
so
cool.
Yeah, we have a
sweet.
friend. takes us fishing, and he
Yeah.
goes to the church too. That's kind of how we found it.
How's the pastor's sermons? Are they about right on time or a little long?
Well, they're a little more cash.
Okay.
They're on island time.
Yes. Everybody's wearing slippers,
Nice.
which are flip-flops.
Okay.
But beautiful. It's a beautiful spot.
All right, let's go to Isabella's favorite, which is that the one from you, Isabella?
Yes.
Oh, nice. Where's this?
That's in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico.
You guys with the exotic locations. I recommend Mesa, but it's hard to beat. It's hard to beat Puerto Vallarta in Hawaii. Woo.
I loved that one because that's unfiltered, unedited, and the sunset was purple and pink.
It's
Those
so
are like
pretty.
two of my favorite
Yeah.
colors.
Nice.
So
Good.
that's my photo.
So great.
I like Puerto Vallarta. The
I do
only thing
too.
is, I was on the beach for about an hour and a half, and I think I had like 14 solicitors come
For?
by. I don't
you say
know.
For
solicitors?
everything.
When you
Well,
say
they're
solicitors?
selling everything. I don't know,
Oh.
trinkets. And
I thought they were asking you for something. Like, hey, are you
Sure.
single?
That was probably
Oh,
a
boy.
couple of them out of the 15
every
solicitors
once in a
we
while,
had.
Isabella, you don't know this, but every once in a while, Celeste does make it weird.
Ron, are you single? Excuse me, Wedito, are you single?
Stand by. Okay.
Why is Ron turning red?
Here is the nominee, you guys, from the one and only Dave on the Dave Cam. Big D.
Yes.
Where was that, friend? I
It's
mean,
from the exotic location of Scottsdale, Arizona.
thank you.
At,
Thank you.
Isabella's Kitchen on the Greyhawk Golf Club.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay, very nice. Well, we like those Maricopa County entries. Okay, Dave, thanks. Oh, and I think Ken even shared one. Ken in the Internet Center. Wow, wow.
Right, he
Oh.
says, this is from the North Sea.
Wow.
From the North Sea.
Yeah, he says you
Stunning.
can see a cruise ship in the photo.
Oh, yeah, over the middle.
That's amazing.
Ken in the weather internet department. Would you
Yes.
Would you say, Ron?
In the internet, he runs the whole internet.
Oh, the entire World Wide Web?
I think so, but it might just be fox10phoenix.com. I can't get a clear answer out of him.
Ken, you're the best, buddy. Sometimes
Okay.
he brings snacks in for the newsroom, by the way. So.
Oh, Ken is amazing.
Yeah, he
All right,
is.
Isabella, thank you. And we are going to be giving you a chance now to stick with us for the next half hour here on our Monday show because, ladies and
Yes.
gentlemen, Ty has arrived.
Hello.
Yeah.
Can I just
Long
say
time no
how
see.
good it is to have both of you back?
Oh,
Thank you.
Friday, I had to, Isabella and I were trying to hold down the show.
yes, right.
Trying to make it. It worked.
Yes, it did.
But you
Yeah.
know what?
Yeah.
Oh, we were nervous. So we're just glad you're back, by
Well,
the way.
I can tell you're not a jumble of nerves today. What do you got coming up?
We got
here
a lot going
YouTube?
on, you guys. So
Yeah.
we are going to check in with Maricopa County Animal Care and Control. They were here last week, kind of in anticipation of the 4th of July, because this is obviously when they get so busy. So we're going to check in with them to talk about if you've missing your pet, if you found a pet, what you can do. So we'll talk to them. Plus, we're going to talk the latest on those Texas floods as well. I know you guys did that as well. We'll see you at 11. Happy Monday. It is 11 o'clock, time for Fox 10 Talks, and we got another jam-packed show for you planned on this Monday morning.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome in. Big topic that a lot of people are talking about. All eyes are in Texas and that terrible, massive flood. 82 people confirmed dead. And so we were just talking a little bit with Crystal about the chances. I mean, we've had flooding here. So
Yeah, of course.
we have monsoon storms here. We've covered several different types of flooding here. So we were just talking a little bit about what happened weather-wise to lead to this.
Yeah, well, so there's a lot. Right now, the video that's playing is showing I believe this the Guadalupe River as it was rising. Yeah, so, there was a lot at play for this to happen. It was kind of the perfect storm in terms of the moisture supply. They had record levels of precipitable water. Precipitable water is the amount of water in the atmosphere that can be wringed out and turned into rain. So meteorologists will look at that.
Real quick,
Sure.
How do they measure that? Because I feel like it is so technical, and I love when you break stuff down for us. But how do they actually measure how much that could potentially be?
So the way that we do modeling to forecast for big events is through a variety of things, satellite imagery that we get, data that planes can collect, but most importantly is weather balloon launches, which measure different things throughout the atmosphere: temperature, pressure, dew point, moisture, winds, things like that. And weather balloons can go tens of thousands of feet up into the atmosphere. So as those go up high into the sky, they sample different parts of the atmosphere for things like how much water content is in the
Gotcha.
up there.
Sorry to interrupt.
No.
And so if they're measuring that, is that a pretty certain bet as to how much is going to come down, or again, that's something that you watch?
So there's always water in our atmosphere, but at certain times of any given day and any given week, there are different amounts of water overhead. So sometimes you're going to have really low precipitable water amounts. So even if there are storm chances, it's going to be weak storms. And then sometimes there are high precipitable water amounts, and that indicates that there is at least the potential for heavier storms. So that's why the National Weather Service, the day before the event, was able to put that flash flood watch out, saying, the conditions were ripe for there to be some type of flood event. They didn't know exactly where, but they knew the general area, and they didn't know the exact amounts, but they knew it could be high. And then I believe it was the Weather Prediction Center, which focuses on hydrology or water-related events. I think the evening beforehand, July 3rd evening, they were able to then say there could be some extreme rainfall rates of 3 inches per hour or more, which is always going to cause flooding, that kind of rainfall rate. Now, we know that in an hour it was far more than 3 inches that fell in some areas, but they put out that wording that this could become a very dangerous event. But it was because of the fact that we had these record amounts of water that were in the sky overhead. And then that combined with a storm system that was kind of stuck over Texas. This has happened in Arizona before. It can happen really anywhere in the country. You'll get these little spins, these little areas of a storm system that get stuck. So there's nothing in the weather pattern is guiding it to the left or the right, to the to the east or the west, north or south. So if it's stuck somewhere, it can do something called training. Training is when a storm falls over the same spot over and over and over. And on top of the fact that we had that potential, you had this ample moisture supply from the Gulf, which this time of year, always Texas has a lot of moisture from the Gulf. That's just how it is this time of year. That's why severe storms happen this time of year as well, as there's a good moisture supply that kind of is an abrupt change to any dry air that runs into it. And then at the same time, there was leftover moisture from a storm that impacted Mexico the week before or something. I might not be exact on that, but from Barry. So Barry's tropical moisture, we just had those storms, right? What was it? The beginning
last week, Tuesday?
This was from the beginning of June. Do you remember those storms at the beginning of June? And we were like, oh my gosh, look at that moisture.
Yeah.
It was tropical moisture. So when you get tropical moisture, suddenly you can get very big rain amounts. So it was, again, kind of this combo of perfect storm setup of just a bunch of things that you didn't want to happen at the same time.
You're talking about the spinning, and so I know that they're expecting more rain today. Is that kind of
so there's still remnants of this setup, unfortunately. So if you want to take my maps, you can see it on radar right now. There's yet again a mess of flood warnings out. So the red boxes are flash flood warnings. Wow. The lighter green boxes are flood advisories, which is sometimes more like roads and things like that. And then the bright green are flood warnings. Those are for rivers, creeks, streams, etc. So this has been happening all morning long, and it really hasn't moved again, unfortunately. So there are new flood alerts, and as a result, the National Weather Service did put out in that area another flood watch. So everything in green is that flood watch. Kerrville, as you can see in the center of the screen, is the spot that had the devastating flooding on July 4th morning. And then those red boxes are the flash flood warnings that are in place right now.
For those at home watching, they may not know the difference, because I always have to ask you as well, the difference between a flood watch, a flood warning, a flash flood watch, flood warning.
The deeper green is the watch. Watches mean that conditions are ripe. The forecast is there for it to happen, but it's not actively happening, and it's not a guarantee it's going to happen, but nonetheless, you should prepare for it to happen. The brighter green boxes that you see are flood warnings. Warnings mean it is happening, and you need to seek higher ground. You need to take the proper precautions. And then the red boxes are also flash flood warnings. Flash flood warnings mean it's more of that instantaneous event that's happening, and it's a shorter time period, but it potentially is more dangerous. And again, that is happening. So watch. They always say a watch is like if you walked in your kitchen and all the ingredients for chocolate chip cookies were out, you're like, okay, we're about to make some chocolate chip cookies. That's a watch. Like, it looks like it's going to happen, but you don't have cookies yet. A warning is like they're in the oven, you smell them. Like, they're done. You're about to eat them.
Great analogy.
Yeah. So that's what a lot of times meteorologists will use as the explanation.
So what happened then with this? Was this a flash flood warning? Was this a flood warning?
Yeah, so this was a flash flood event. When you get rivers rising that fast, it's a flash flood event. Obviously, the hill country is hilly, so part of it was elevation issues. You get 10 inches of rain falling somewhere, it's going to drain down into a river, and it was the Guadalupe, which unfortunately is where there are camps and a lot of people camping.
And it was a holiday weekend too.
It was a holiday weekend, and it does draw parallels to here, right? Because we have so many great rivers, creeks, streams in northern Arizona that people go camping at all the time this time of year.
Can we talk a little bit about, someone's asking in the chat, Christine Carroll, how soon will that area be able to recover? Have you been able to look at the forecast to kind of just tell when the rain might be over?
Yeah, so it looks like tomorrow things will start to calm down in that area. There may be another round that moves in Wednesday, and then it looks like, again, maybe a break. But in terms of like actual recovery, I think that they're saying it's going to be a very
that's going to be a long time to recover, but hopefully the weather will cooperate a little bit just to kind of get those roads cleared up and help folks.
We had a situation, I was looking it up, 2017 here outside of Payson, and similar to where warnings were issued via cell phone. The National Weather Service issued them, but that particular area didn't have great service. So people were out there hiking. It was a family. There were a lot of people out there, and that storm hit within an hour and a half, flooded out that entire area. And so it can happen in Arizona, and that's what's scary. You had a really great explanation of how much water is dangerous and how much more dangerous it gets as it rises.
Yeah, so, we always say turn around, don't drown, which is like corny sounding, and I think people get sick of us saying it, but every year we end up having flood emergencies in Arizona, especially with the monsoon. So this is just kind of like a reminder, or maybe it's something you haven't heard before, and it'll make you change your choices in the future. But just 6 inches of moving water is enough to knock someone off their feet. So if you're trying to walk through a moving area of water, just 6 inches can take you downstream. It also is enough to start stalling out a vehicle. 12 inches of moving water is enough to move many vehicles. So at least float, sometimes move downstream.
It's only a foot.
1 foot, which is such a small amount. And a lot of times we see people start driving through these roads because I want to get home, I don't want to turn around, whatever. And then you end up with these issues. And then just 2 feet of water is enough to carry away even SUVs and trucks of moving water. Water is just so powerful when it is moving that it's always a surprise to people. But then when you think about the fact that Guadalupe River rose almost 27 feet.
Insane, isn't it?
In like, what, 45 minutes? Or so? It was quick.
It was
and then also, like,
very fast.
Not only just how much water, but how fast it's moving. You don't ever know when you're driving into that or walking into
Yeah,
it.
and that's why they say that unless you know for certain, that's only a couple inches deep, you really should never drive through moving water, because so often we end up with these swift water rescues because of how small of amount it takes for a vehicle or yourself to be moved, impacted.
Well, Crystal, thank you so much for coming in.
Yes,
we appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I know you're going to stay on top of this for us, so we're going to keep you kind of in the
Close.
loop. Keep us
Thank
close.
you.
Yeah, if anything else happens.
Of course, yeah. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, we're going to switch gears, and we've got some interesting investigative piece that Justin Lum has been working on. So you're looking right now. This is the Hassayampa River bottom, way out in the far west valley. But some things have been going on out there, Justin. Kind of break down what we're talking about with the Hassayampa.
Good morning, everyone.
Hi, good morning.
Thanks for making the time for me. I appreciate
we love
it.
your investigative pieces. They're always so informative.
Yeah, well, we got a tip from a resident rancher there, cattle rancher, who told us about this a couple months ago about the gunfire that was just popping off at all times of the night, especially on weekends. And then we went to TikTok to see that for the past couple of years, probably, there have been large wild parties under the Hassayampa River Bridge. And you can just go down there yourself and see all the alcohol bottles, the cans, the bullet holes, items used for target practice. And TikTok also gave us a look at the type of basically makeshift concerts that they were having. I mean, this is illegal to be on this land here. It's not public. And this was happening for a long time.
I know you got a tip, but
Yeah.
how did you know to go to TikTok, and what did you start searching to find all these videos? It's pretty mind-blowing that it's viral. These videos of these
Yeah.
parties, this spot, are so popular.
It's such a universal language now, how we communicate with each other via TikTok, Instagram, basically like an invitation to come to such a party, or that these are going to be happening and going on every weekend. The term used was 339 racing or 339 off-road. So you had a lot of young people in their ATVs with lights and alcohol. And, you know, I can't lie, if I was 16, 17 years old,
You
or
wanna
even,
head
I'd
out
want to
too,
hang out
see
there
what
too.
it's all about.
And
So
339
I
means
see that.
339th Avenue, correct?
Exactly.
Okay.
So 339th Avenue near the I-10, kind of in the Tonopah area. I mean, there's not a lot of residents here, but it's a lot of farmers, ranchers, but there are families, you know what I mean? Everyone's spread out in this desolate area, but some have had, you know, stray bullets kind of pop and land across the street from them. One rancher, he stacked bales of hay against his daughter's window so that if anything, God forbid, something happened. I mean, and we looked at them and said, like, this is what it's come to. I mean, you stack bales of hay, she can't really look out her window at all. He's like, well, you know, it makes me mad, but, you know, I have to do what I have to do, because the response times overall have been slow by deputies, and MCSO has stepped up now and said, look, we are down deputies, we have a shortage, but we are going to start patrolling more. And so that's what led to our ride along with MCSO, because you can cover one side of the story and talk about the concerns, but it's also, I think, especially with our platform where we can get into these investigations to have more time, is to say, okay, when can we see what you guys are seeing? So that's what we did with MCSO.
Any arrests? Anyone that they're talking to?
There are citations that happen, but really we haven't seen huge amounts of arrest. I know that in the past year there have been a lot of calls for service, and the top category is for shootings in the area. So, and the residents will tell you that those are underreported. They sort of give up on calls.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, welcome back. Sorry, we had to take a quick break, Justin, but you were kind of talking about the MCSO's response because obviously, I mean, I can only imagine living out there and having to deal with the noise and obviously kind of the threat, I guess you could say, of potentially a stray bullet coming through a window of your house.
Yeah.
What is the fear? Yes.
And you don't really know who these people are gathering out there. What
No,
they
they
could
come from
potentially,
everywhere.
well, alcohol fueled, possibly drug fueled. What could happen?
And so it's also with the shootings, that's the number one concern. But people have been hit there as well. MCSO told us that they had to respond medically, so they're already short. And then now because I think it really sparked up and increased during the pandemic.
Sure.
People were outdoors and having these parties, and it was fun. But again, this is private property, and so there's damage to some of the residents' land because they'll go through barricades to get through, whether it's fencing or whatnot. They will drive through with their ATVs and get down to the river bottom. So they're just left with hey, you're just disturbing our whole peace of mind, and this is where we live. So
now Linda has a question for you, Justin. I know you said there's no arrests yet, but she's asking maybe if these individuals are underage, if parents could potentially be held responsible for their actions. I know you're still kind of investigating who exactly it is, so we don't really know, right?
Yeah, it seems like when they come in and they patrol and they bust these big gatherings, everyone it's just kind of get out of here type of thing.
Like a party.
Yeah. Now, if you're pulled over for some reason and maybe you don't have an OHV plate, then it could lead to other citations, whether if you're drinking and driving and whatnot. But I think MCSO is trying to put that presence out there and show that we are watching. And so things, from what I've learned, have slowed down a little bit. It's sort of like a rash, right? But it just kind of keeps on coming.
They know they're
up.
being watched, so they're being a little bit quiet.
Careful, communicate that through TikTok is hey, it's hot right now. Let's go somewhere else.
Right. Yeah. And we know that we're getting questions about April and the Chandler 55.
Yes.
That's a huge topic we've covered here as well. We had Jerry, the dog that is the Jerry's Law is named after, in a couple of weeks ago. That was finally signed today.
Yeah.
We have a couple of questions about that as
They're
well.
just saying that she has a pretrial conference today. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, we're
checking
putting
you on the spot, Justin.
Yeah, I literally was talking to our court public information officer earlier about, hey, what's the deal? Has it been continued? Trial was supposed to be starting on July 14th. Are we still on track for that? There's a lot of charges involved with April McGlaughlin, not just the animal cruelty charges, but the fraud as well. I mean, we covered this extensively. Yeah. She took allegedly innocent until proven guilty, but her mother, her elderly mother, was stuck in that home as well, not just the 55 dogs. So she's facing a lot of evidence that's mounted against her, and she also has charges in municipal court in Chandler. We've been waiting for this for a long time. So we will be keeping tabs on that, and we could be starting Monday, but we'll keep you all updated.
All right.
You'll keep
Justin,
us posted.
Thanks
Thank
for coming in. We do appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
All right.
Speaking of pups,
yes.
4th of July, very busy weekend. We actually had Kim Powell on from Maricopa County Animal Care and Control last week, talking about the process of finding the dogs that ran when they were scared. So we've got her back with us today. Kim, can you hear us? Oh, okay. We could have kept Justin on.
It's all right. We're reestablishing our signal with Kim, but we were talking about this because obviously the 4th of July is notorious for dogs getting lost. They hear those fireworks, they get scared, and then they just go wild. And we had a vet on last week as well, and what I thought was really interesting, she says people think that they know their dogs, right? And they're mellow, they're chill, but when they have these fireworks and when these dogs get scared, she says that she's seen dogs scale 6-foot fences that have never been able to do that before. You never know what kind of that anxiety
They're
does.
quite capable when they're in distress. Hi, Kim.
I don't know if she can hear us. Kim, can you hear us? All right. I'm going to take her off, and we're going to try and reestablish
We're trying to get the latest numbers then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
so
they always kind of beef up staff
Can you hear them,
during
Kim?
the 4th of July and everything like that. Are we getting her? We good? All right. Sorry, guys. We're trying
That's
to get
okay.
her. We're trying to get her
We'll
signal.
get you guys some updates, but in the meantime, we've got a couple of talkers that we wanted to bring up. Something.
All right. Let's try one more time with Kim. All right, Kim. Can you hear us now? Yay. Okay.
But I can't hear Kim. I hear myself.
All right. It's all right. You know what?
Kim, just kind of mime to us how many dogs you guys took in this weekend.
A lot. And how are you feeling, Kim?
Thumbs up?
Distraught and tired. And also, where is Swan? He's still up for adoption.
Sweet Swan. He's still up for adoption?
He went away. He's still up for adoption. We're going to put your website up, Kim, in case people, A, lost a dog, B, want to adopt one. Thank you for trying. We appreciate it.
Thanks,
Thumbs
Kim.
up.
Happy Monday to you. We'll try and...
Distraught is how we're feeling right now, too, Kim. Like, woo!
It happens to the best of us, doesn't it? All right.
Okay.
Mel, get on over here.
Save us.
You do a
hot walk.
Here she comes. Here she
She's
comes.
a hot boss babe walk. There she is.
You know her. You love her. She's our boss, so we have to be nice to her.
No. I'm nice to you because I like you.
I needed friends. Gotta make friends.
Did you have a nice 4th of July?
I did. It was low key.
Chill, right?
How was Louis?
Very chill. Louis does not care about fireworks.
He doesn't. It just
I like
doesn't.
to say he's a city dog because we live by the light rail, so he hears the
the
light rail going
noise.
by.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
we're right off 19th Avenue,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
Louis her
it's
boxer.
not quiet.
How old is Louis?
Louis is 5.
Oh, he's fairly young. Okay.
He's still a baby.
Yeah.
Shorty doesn't care. He's never cared. Now he's deaf, so he really doesn't care.
Mm.
But he's never cared.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
None of our dogs have.
Oh, I wish that was the case for Myrtle.
she was hiding.
She was hiding. She was not into it at all. And then Stuart, who usually is like fairly chill, he started getting freaked out. And I was like, I don't know if he's just like,
It's like contagious.
seeing Myrtle's behavior of her being scared. So he's like, I'm scared too, you guys, to like try and get attention. I don't know what it was going, but I hate the 4th of July. I just don't like the fireworks.
Yeah.
Because it is just, I mean, it was a sleepless night. I took a long nap the day after just because poor Myrtle was, and we tried the trazodone.
Didn't work.
I mean, I don't know. It like mellowed her down, but I don't think it like did enough to kind of like, I was
did
hoping
knock
it would
her
just
out.
knock
You
her
were
out and
hoping
let
it
her
would knock
sleep
her
through
out,
the thing.
yeah.
So poor girl was
I was surprised we didn't have a lot of fireworks going off in the neighborhood.
lucky.
Oh, we had a decent amount.
No, we had nothing.
So the next year I was like, I'm going to take the 4th of July off. I'm going to camp in
It's
the
a
middle
Saturday
of
next year.
nowhere
There you go.
where there's
You don't
no
have to
fireworks.
take the day off.
Well, true.
Well, I don't think they do a lot of fireworks and Flagstaff because of the fire danger.
They
I'm
do
going to-
drones.
I'm
It's a
going to
drone.
Flagstaff. But still,
Also, sleep with earplugs. I
But,
sleep with
that's the
earplugs
dogs.
and
It's not me. It's
Oh,
more
okay,
the
okay.
dogs freaking out. I wish there was dog earplugs because I'd shove them in there for her. Poor girl.
give her a little headband.
You have a whole year to work on it.
I know. I did see someone on TikTok that was talking about she bought her dog. It was like it looked like I don't know, just like a tight, like ace bandage that you put
to
around
wrap
her
around
ears.
your ears. Did it work?
I don't know. And then she also bought it like earmuffs. And I was like, maybe I need to buy
Mm.
all of that for Myrtle. But I don't know. It was rough.
Whatever
So,
it takes. Get
whatever
her a
it
little
takes.
stocking cap and cut the top off.
With her little
And
ears
then
to
just
hang
kinda
out.
pull it so that you can just kind of go down, and it's kind
Oh.
of comforting. It'll be snug.
I know. And we used to have one of those thunder shirts for our old lab.
I don't think.
I don't think
like
they
'em.
work.
No.
I feel like some dogs it works for, but so far, they just, nothing works. Poor Mert.
We'll see if we can figure it out next
Over the
year.
hurdle, Myrtle.
Over the hurdle with Myrtle. That's her Instagram.
Or under the hurdle this time.
Yeah, poor girl. We got some talkers that we wanted to talk to you about.
And if
Okay.
you're at home watching, we want to hear from you on these.
Do you want to start with do you want to do the summer dress code or do you want to start in order? Whatever you want to do.
Let's do Krispy Kreme
Okay.
because today's National Chocolate Day.
Mm.
Do you guys have a favorite chocolate?
Like if you were going to go to the store and
Like
buy a
if
chocolate
you
bar.
are going to eat some chocolate right
Oh.
now, what are you going to eat?
Peanut butter M&Ms.
Oh.
I can't even buy them.
I do the peanut or the peanut butter.
Peanut
Either.
butter.
Oh. Anita
and-
buys me every
Oh.
birthday. She buys me like the Costco.
The
What is that, like
gallon.
almost a gallon?
I don't know. It's a lot of M&Ms,
Yeah.
and he usually eats them in a week. And he does not share. He
I
hides them.
don't. Well, because I don't like people's nasty little hands going in there.
Well, this
so-
is true.
Yeah.
I
so
don't
just
blame you.
One hand only.
Yeah.
Mine. And yeah, I do not like to admit that thing is gone quicker than it probably should be gone.
Also love an
Chocolates-
almond joy.
Oh my!
But those are
you're
a
with
little
my
controversial
mom.
because a lot of people don't like coconut.
I love.
I like coconut.
I do too.
I like almond joy.
We're getting a lot of people talking about the
Yes.
dogs.
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
Let's see.
My pups have never been bothered, but this year they did. Luckily, they
Oh.
didn't mind the thunderstorms. That's Sherry Nevada
Yeah.
pup.
And then Jen Wall said my dog was like that. He didn't even respond to the meds. He's going to be 14 this year, and he doesn't hear it anymore. Oh, well,
Yeah.
that's, I guess.
Get yourself a deaf dog.
And then Sherry said they get a Thunder shirt. I tried it. The
Yeah.
Thunder vest or whatever did not really work.
Maybe it works better for the little dogs.
Maybe. All right. Maybe I should get Murdy a small one. I don't know. I will literally try anything right now because, I mean, it was like hot breath in my face.
Oh, poor Murdy.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna bring. Hold on, I'll show you on my phone. Hold on. Let me just show you what it looked like. Hold on. Keep talking amongst yourselves. I left my phone over here.
Anita, you didn't tell us your favorite chocolate.
I like any chocolate with caramel in it. I like the little Dove dark chocolate with caramel.
Doves are good.
And then there's a brand of chocolate. I think it's called Tony's chocolate. That's really delicious.
I've seen those.
It's just a good quality chocolate. I do like the peppermint patties.
Oh,
you put
the
those.
That's a
York.
classic.
You put those in the fridge and keep them nice and chill, and then they're just like a little
Little
crisp.
chewy snack.
Yeah, I really like those a lot too.
Almost like a
I'm
thermit.
I'm more of like a chewy candy girl, which is why I have so many cavities and crowns. But every once in a while, I crave chocolate.
All right, so this is me and poor Mert.
Aw.
She just laid there right by my head. Hold on.
And she's
Can you
not
zoom
allowed in the
There you
bed.
go.
No.
Are you gonna zoom in, Ty? A live zoom? That's impressive.
There's poor Mert,
Aw.
and there's poor me. Wait, which way do I go?
Where was Stewie?
Stuart was on the floor.
Oh, you guys, okay. Linda says chocolate almonds are her favorite.
And Yorks.
And York, Snickers or Twix, Bo, good choice. Sherry Nevada Pup says I could eat M&Ms like that when I was your age too, Ty.
It's starting to catch up with me. I don't think I can do that anymore either. But
You just work out a little harder. Chocolate's worth it, though,
It
don't you
is.
think?
Yeah, I love
Well,
it.
and then supposedly the darker the chocolate, the less you need to like satisfy that chocolate craving.
Oh, really?
Oh.
The
They
higher the
say-
cacao?
Uh-huh. It supposedly.
What's the magic number? Do you know the threshold?
82%.
No, but just like the dark, like they have dark chocolate
Yeah.
and they have like super dark chocolate, and supposedly the higher.
I wonder if
the
it's
more
because it's so
satisfying.
bitter.
Yeah.
You know, it is. It's
Yeah.
very. I like dark chocolate.
I like it for the sweetness, so that's why I'm not a big
But I feel like
Oh,
the
so you don't like dark
really,
chocolate.
the really dark chocolate can be a little bitter.
Yeah.
And so maybe you don't need a lot because of that.
Isabella says she likes the dark chocolate with the flaky sea salt.
Yes,
Yeah.
and the caramel.
Yeah.
Tony's has a good one like that.
Oh, and Linda saying Ghirardelli. That's a so
yeah.
good.
Have you guys ever been to Ghirardelli's?
I've been to the store in San Francisco.
There's one in Chicago, and they have the whole little like chocolate. You can get hot chocolate there and buy the
Oh.
little squares. Those with the caramel.
They had a Lindt store when we were in Austria.
Oh, that's good chocolate too.
And those are like, like the little balls that are in the foil.
So the Lints, I like the white chocolate.
I do too.
Oh,
and I
my-
usually don't like white chocolate normally, but like the Lindt white chocolate.
Now, do you put the whole thing in your mouth and eat it, or do you bite it in half?
No. I just go.
You can't bite it because then it's liquidy
Yeah,
almost in
they've
the middle.
got stuff.
You can bite them.
They have at Christmas time, I think, is it Ghirardelli or the Lindt? They make like it's got chunks of.
everyone. I'm Syleste Rodriguez. Welcome back to Cool House.